Hello, Crossroads. I just want to take some time to kind of let you know what's going on. Angie has done a fantastic job of sending out the weekly emails, but this time I just want to give you a personal message, personal announcement from me of things that we have coming up. Because believe it or not, we have a lot of things that are coming up. I'm going to wait till the end to let you know what the latest orders from the governor mean for us and kind of how we're handling that. I'll kind of do that at the end. But first of all, Thursday is the National Day of Prayer, and we can't do some of the things that we've done in the past. But I am planning to do a Zoom prayer meeting at 7 o'clock on Thursday morning. And what that will mean is I will send out an invitation to a Zoom meeting. I know some of you are about zoomed out, and I totally get that. But I just thought it would be a way that we could gather for prayer from 7 to 8 o'clock. And if you would like to join us and you can only stay for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, and go, that is perfectly fine. There's really no agenda to that other than I'll probably read some scriptures and have some prayer time. So uh, I will send out the invitation to the All Church email. If you are getting this and you don't get our emails, just send me a message and I'd be happy to send you the invitation. On Thursday at noon, we will have a drive-through prayer time, and I understand that a lot of our elders are working and other staff may have some things to do. I know I will be available at noon on Thursday to pray for anyone who wants to just kind of drive up to the church. I'll pray for you from your car, and or if we have anybody else, any of our other elders that are able to make it, then that's great too. But I'm just planning to be out from about 12 to 1 and pray for anybody that needs it. So just know that we have that coming up. And then Thursday evening, Open Door will have their circle of prayer. And I just really encourage you to go to Open Door on Thursday evening from 7 to 8 o'clock. Again, it'll be stay in your vehicles, but we're going to try to circle the entire building, which will basically be circle that whole corner lot, and pray for Open Door, pray for our country, and so that so those are the events for the National Day of Prayer. Then on Sunday, May 17th, is Youth Sunday. We are continuing on with having youth-led worship. So our worship team will be comprised mainly of students in our youth ministry. Our meditations will be done by students, and prayers and even at least part of the sermon will come from one of our youth. We are going to invite any parents of teens, especially those who are involved with youth-led worship, to come and be a part of it, to come and sit in the auditorium with us, or youth coaches. We're also inviting you. This will not be in violation to the numbers and the social distancing, and I'll explain all that in just a few minutes more. But it will not be in violation to do that. But we are going to, if your student is up on stage and is in in any way a part of this, we would invite you to come and join us. Then on May 24th is a concert of prayer. We cannot do the concert of prayer the way that we always have, obviously. However, we still want to keep that tradition. We believe that it's a very important part of what we do here at Crossroads. And so our plan is to, just like we did with the candles, deliver a box to each household that will be a kit to have concert of prayer at home. We will guide you through. We will have the Facebook Live and YouTube Live on Sunday morning, like we always do at 9:30. But it will be different. We will be guiding you through the prayer stations. We will have background music to give you time to perform, not perform, to go through a particular prayer practice. and we'll give you all the information that you need to kind of guide through, as well as any elements that might be needed for that. So we thought that might be a good way to engage in the concert of prayer while still continuing to keep within the guidelines. One other announcement that I need to make is the children's ministry the leadership team met on Sunday, really talked about some options for VBS for the summer, for camps and those kind of things. We have decided not to have VBS this summer. There's a lot of factors going on. I would, I'd be lying if I didn't say that the virus has affected that in some way, but that's really not the only reason. Yes, it would be kind of a nightmare if we had to try to socially distance that many kids. But one of the things we really talked about is a lot of things that have been canceled in March, April, May, June are all getting pushed to July. And a few of those things are graduations and camps. This really affects our ability to get volunteers, to get kids involved with VBS and so forth. And so we thought it would just be one more thing to try to put into the schedule when everything else is flooding into July. In addition to that, Prairie View Christian Camp has put all of their camps in July. And during that week that we would have had VBS would be kids camp, which is for second and third graders. So we want to support our camp. We want our kids to be able to go to camp. It's a great experience, and so we are going to promote camps, and we are just not going to have Vacation Bible School. We are going to try to do something in its place, something maybe for our own families later in the fall, but I don't have any details on that yet. So just wanted to let you know that is in the plans. To not have Vacation Bible School. Now, for our comeback plan, it is, I've been a part of a group of pastors that is actually probably in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 if you all got us if you got us all in one place at one time. There's been a lot of Zoom meetings and where we've talked about best practices, where we've talked about going and being united in when we start back up. And so the date that has been put out there is May 31st for churches to kind of come back together. Now I do know that some churches are waiting until we are completely out of phase 2 in order to restart. So it would be after May 31st. Our plan at this point is to really strive for May 31st. We feel that even if they hold back, even in phase 1, we believe we could still pull it off, and especially if it goes into phase 2. Phase 1 is 10 or less, but let me explain the way it's been explained to me. And I've been on several calls, even with Nick Baldetti, our medical officer. What that means is 10 people in a mass gathering is 10 people that are not separated by a 6-foot space. So we could have a group of 10 people, 6-foot space, and another group of 10 people. Now in phase 1, they really want those 10 people to be related, of the same household. So that would be fairly difficult to do that. But once we move to phase 2, that is groups of 30. So you can have groups of 30 separated by a 6-foot space. That is very doable for our auditorium. So that's what we're shooting for. By the time we get to May 31st, we'll even be a week or two into phase 2, and almost at the point, I think the very next day, it goes into phase 3, where the mass gathering number is 90. That's like 90 chairs on one side of the auditorium, 6-foot aisle, and then another 90 on the other side. Again, very doable. So we feel like May 31st is a good date to shoot for. Now, if things go crazy, as they have been known to do, then we may have to change that. But we feel pretty comfortable with that at this point. We will still need to be following best practices. We will have ways into the auditorium and ways out where we're not crossing. We will wait. We will not have anything for kids at least the first Sunday, and then we will try to start kids crossing probably the following Sunday when the numbers kind of go up. And also we're going to really again be watching what others do. Some churches are not having anything for kids until we are phasing out, and so we feel like we can do it in our setting. Once we get into June, we feel like we can really go ahead and begin our kids crossing. Probably look at July, depending on how everything goes for restarting Sunday school. Again, we're going to have to be practicing social distancing. We're going to have to be practicing, no hugging and handshakes and those kind of things. And I know that there are going to be people all across the gamut of what you feel like we should or should not be doing. I'm following what we're seeing as best practices. I know that in some ways, sometimes it feels like overboard, and to some people, it's going to feel like we're jumping the gun and we shouldn't be starting yet. So we're really trying to again follow best practices, excuse me, for keeping people as safe as possible. I want you also to realize that I have overseen the making of well over 100,000 burritos, and you say, "Oh my goodness, why are we bringing burritos into this?" I know what food safety looks like. I know what it looks like to try to keep people as safe as possible. My background really helps with that, and I have been seen as kind of going overboard at times with food safety. Well, I think using our knowledge of viruses, our knowledge of bacteria, all those kind of things, it's not acting in fear. It's just acting wisely, and so we're gonna do the best we can to keep people safe and to keep an environment where everyone can feel safe. Remember, that's one of our U's, unconditional love, where this is a safe place, and so it needs to be others. People need to be able to come and feel safe no matter kind of where they're at in their walk and in their life. So we're going to do our very best to make this a safe place. We're going to have two services. We believe that by the time we get to that point, we can still do this with two services, 8:30 and 10:30. They will be identical services. That way, we can try to encourage some of the numbers from what would people who would normally go to our second service to go to first service. We would recommend that families with kids just continue to go to the second service. Keep the first service more for those without kids. We're not going to turn you away if you have kids and decide to come to first, but we're trying to maybe even out the two services a little bit to make sure we have enough enough room to spread out between the two services. We will not have anything. We will not have a kids crossing during the first service. That will only be during second service, and again, that'll be starting up in June. So also the 8:30 and 10:30 allows us time in between because we're going to have to go in and sanitize all the chairs, any door handles and things like that. So please don't get here real early. If you're typically here really early, we would prefer to be able to get first service completely out, get in, be able to sanitize everything, give it time to dry, and then have a second service. So really, we're not planning on opening doors until about 10:15 for that second service. So again, 8:30, 10:30. We're really not going to encourage congregating, in the lobby. If you want to talk to people, we're going to really encourage doing that outside. Again, I know this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel normal, but we're doing the best we can to follow these guidelines. Other things to note, we won't have coffee and lemonade and those kind of things. We're not going to have bulletins to hand out. I encourage you to use your devices. We're going to have our notes on YouVersion. You can also just bring your own notebook and pen, write notes, just like you did in school. Um, over the next week or so, we're going to be putting together some teams that can help us bring all this together and try to go through all the details of flow of traffic and those kind of things. And so, just I just want to encourage you to keep watching for updates. Keep looking for communications that we'll send out. All this is very new. All this is very fluid. But I think that's one thing we've all learned over this period of time is to be flexible. So this is the best we know right now to keep you informed of what's coming up. Always feel free to send us an email, a text, a phone call if you have questions, if you have concerns about how we're moving forward. And again, church, we love you. We appreciate your faithfulness. We appreciate your faithfulness in how you've been giving and how you've been giving of your resources, even in a time like this, to keep things going. The encouraging emails, the encouraging texts that we get, thanking us for what we've been doing to try to keep things going. You've been great, and we can't wait until we get to see your faces again. And at this point, May 31st, that is our goal. And I just want to give you thanks and appreciate you for all that you've done to hang in there with us. God bless, and we'll stay in touch. Have a good night.